All right, all right. So this is a beautiful time. We are starting right away. And yes, we have been talking around job readiness for a while now. And for people who have been here, we've had amazing facilitator come up online. We've had the developer, we've had Dorcas talking or opening themselves up into sharing about all you need to know about setting yourself in the right path when it comes to career progression, prospects, and also even position yourself for the right opportunity. And here this evening, we're going to be having Tim Dial doing an amazing deep dive into this topic, how to assess global opportunity as either a career person, as someone who is aspiring to step into a professional space, or what have you, anyone who's actually seeking to maximize opportunities around the world, step into this place. This is actually that webinar for you. And and like we've always said in GradePlus Africa, these are free webinars bringing amazing people from different industries to come speak to the community. It is not small. This is something that worth worth a lot of money if you're going to pay for this. But this is both GradePlus Africa and these amazing people giving back to you, to the society, the community, to people, helping people improve in different ways that they can. So I want you to really pay attention. Either you are here on Zoom or you are joining from YouTube. Pay attention. If this is time you need to take away distraction, okay, take away all distractions, get to somewhere very silent, calm, get your pen, get your notepad, either digital or physical, and pay attention, take notes. And while Timda is going to be speaking, if you have questions, note them down or drop them in the chat. And if you want to speak, yeah, there'll be time for you to actually speak. We ask you to raise your hand and all of that. So I want you to really pay attention. It's going to be a short one. Yeah, we started a bit late today, which is something that we apologize for actually, because this is this minutes behind schedule. But even within the time we have, please maximize it and do well to pay attention. I can't say that so many times. Do well to pay attention, right? So yeah, let me bring in our guest by reading her bio. Yeah, it's so good to have Tim Dow here. Tim Dow has been it's yeah, we have history way back. So you're gonna see why I said that we've worked together in Innovate Lab before, and she's an amazing person, and I'm glad to be having the privilege to actually read her bio. We call her Shifo then, but she's our chief. So Timothy Chrissy Yefumi is a strategic consultant with 8 years of experience helping helping startups, founders, and organizations grow through systems building and operational strategy. She was a founding team member of and CEO at Innovate Lab, a Nigerian innovation hub where she built operational systems, led programs, and supported entrepreneurs in developing sustainable ventures. At Tonga, Netherlands, she scaled the company's reach across the African tech talent market by 400% in just 6 months, managed a community of 3,000 plus developers, and secured partnerships that expanded the firm's visibility and loyalty. Timdale has also led cross-functional startup projects as a product manager and business analyst at Kiola. She is the founder of TNJ Creative Consulting, where she supports entrepreneurs and organizations in marketing, HR, and operations consulting, and leadership training. Yeah, she's also the creator of Amazing African Spotlights. This is an amazing work she does, a media platform highlighting African entrepreneurs and change makers. Timdayo has coached, mentored, and spoken on several platforms with young Africans, guiding them in achieving their business, career, and personal goals. She is the author of the book Walk on the Wheels, which is based on purpose fulfillment and vision actualization. With deep experience across African startup ecosystem, Timida brings clarity, creativity, and strategic networks to help professionals, organizations, and founders thrive. She specializes in designing strategies and communities that drive engagement, unlock partnerships, and create tangible value for organizations. So this is so packed, and we can expect an amazing output from Tim Dow this evening. I want you either in the chat or in using your React feature on Zoom, give a warm welcome to Mrs. Tim Dow Chrissy Efumi as she take us on this amazing journey on how to assess global opportunities, a practical roadmap. Thank you so much. Please give her a round of applause as she come on board. Yes, Tindayo, the floor is yours. Yeah, let me make you able to share your screen.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome, Mr. Solu. Sorry, this is not my laptop, so I'm trying to
It's
get the
okay.
camera. I'm going to
It's
try to
okay.
get this at space level.
It's okay.
Just a minute. Okay, I think this should do the trick. Okay, this is not really working, but let's see. The height and everything is just on mine. So I'm borrowing Mr. Kusi from his device right now for this. But thank you so much, everyone, for being here today.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be doing this and to see how far GradePlus has come, building a community of professionals and entrepreneurs across Africa. Um, and I'm delighted to be contributing in this way to what is being done in GradePlus Africa. So without much ado, we have already spent a lot of time, trying to get everybody together. So I'm going to just jump right in. Initially, when I thought that people maybe were going to come late, maybe it was African time, I was going to start with one key lesson. Then I realized maybe it was just an internal issue, but I'll still share the key lesson. But let me share my slide before then. Mm. Can we see my slide? Like, is it appearing like a slide to you on your end? Just in case, the other things.
Yes, yeah, I can see your screen. I can see your, yeah, I can see your
Okay,
slides.
okay. I would have loved for this to be more interactive, but we're practically, five on the call, and maybe there are some people on YouTube, but I don't have access to them. So I guess it's going to be a lot of talking, and maybe hopefully some other people will join towards the end. But of course, you can put together your questions. So I believe we'll have like a few minutes for that. So first lesson in becoming a global talent who desires or who will work with international teams is that you have to get early to meetings. So I used to work with Tunga. a Dutch-based organization or a Dutch-owned organization, or with operations in Africa and Europe, sourcing African talent for um, international companies, not only in Europe, but also in the UK and in the US. And one of the rules or one of the company cultures that we had uh, was that, you know, the best way to show that you respect people's time is to get to virtual meetings 5 minutes early. And this is basically because it was a remote setting. So if you're really trying to get global opportunities, most likely, say 90% of the time, you're probably going for remote roles. So that's like a rule that you should be aware of. Get to meetings at least 5 minutes early. And that would also give you some time to set up and do all of that. So I hope we can take note of that first lesson. Okay, so let's get right into it. Um, how to access global opportunities. Uh, some of the touch points that we'll be looking at is becoming a global talent. How do you become a global talent? Because only a global talent can actually, access global opportunities. And then the next thing is identifying global entry points, right? So how do you enter into the markets, right? How do you enter into the global markets after you've made yourself uh after you've made yourself a global talent? Then the next thing is how do you optimize for visibility, right? How do you make yourself seen or found by people who are searching for global talents? Then finally, next, navigating cross-border
Hello?
requirements. So can you hear me
Yeah,
still?
hello. Yeah, how
Can you
is
hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, please let me know if you can't hear me anymore. I think I'm using my best internet option right now, so I can just, find a way. So, yeah. So, navigating cross-border requirements. So, what are the requirements that global or recruiters for global talents are actually looking for? What are the general requirements? Every job has its own requirements. And then the global mindset. This is a very important one. You have to actually have a global mindset to work with global teams. In fact, you need that mindset to even access the opportunities themselves before you are hired, because that would determine how you position yourself. Then the F factor, I decided to add this very interesting one, because I have to be honest with you. I'm trying to give you the real deal. This is supposed to be practical, right? So please stay with me till the end and you will get to know what the F factor means. I didn't check the time before I started, and because I'm sharing my screen, I'm not able to even look at the time right now. So I'm trying to keep track of time.
Yeah, I will drop a chat for you.
Okay, thank
So we
you.
just keep it track. Yeah.
Okay, so let's do this quick. I hope you all have maybe pens, like a jotter, um, because it will really help if you can take note of some points. Remember, it's supposed to be a practical class. So try to take note of some important points, like what are you going to do next? I believe everybody here is trying to access one global opportunity or the other. Ideally, I was supposed to look into or talk about how to access jobs, grants, fellowships. But I think most of my conversation would be about jobs, but some of the points I'll be making can apply to accessing grants and fellowships as well. So just stay with me. Now, to becoming a global talent, the first thing you need to know is that you need a skill, right? So it's everybody talks about get a skill, get a tech skill, all of that, learn something. It's true, right? It's just that people have mixed it up a lot. They've made it seem like it doesn't work because people stop at learning. They stop at taking a course. They don't go ahead to build a portfolio. They don't go ahead to practice. They don't go ahead to gain some experience. They think it's only about, getting a certification on Google, on Udemy, on Coursera, or with a training facility, you know, and then they feel like, oh, now I'm ready for that global stage. Actually, you are not. The truth is that um, in the international space, when we say global, we're probably looking at international, so beyond Nigeria. So, but whatever I say also applies to if you're looking to, secure a role within Nigeria. So, if you are seeking a role in any other African country or any other continent, this would actually be relevant to you. And if you are not from Nigeria, this also applies to if you're seeking, from other African countries as well and outside of Africa too. So first, most important, you have to not just obtain a skill, but a globally sought after skill. So you have to be strategic about these things. So it's not just, doing a virtual assistant training. I think that's like one of the most common, trainings that has ever been held. Everybody suddenly started to learn virtual assistants. They took a course and then they're seeking roles and all of that. But you have to ask yourself, is virtual assistant a globally sought after skill? Not that is not needed, but is it a skill that companies from the Netherlands want to hire somebody, a virtual assistant from Nigeria? So that's like the basic question you have to ask if you're going to be very honest with yourself. Would a company in the US seek to hire a virtual assistant or a content writer or a social media manager from Uganda? And if they would, why? Is it that there aren't enough virtual assistants in the US for them to hire? Because there's a reason. Remember, I've worked within a Dutch-owned company. So I'm just giving you like the back end to how decisions are made when it comes to hiring from another country. So there's usually a reason why they would want to hire from a different country than their own country, why they want to hire um another person. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Why they want to hire another person, you know, a person from another country aside from their own, fellow citizen. They always have a reason, and you need to know that reason because that's the only way you can actually position yourself. Please give me a moment. Okay, so there's usually a reason. So let me give a couple of reasons why, so that you would know, and then you can strategically select what skill you'll be positioning yourself to obtain and also to leverage. So first, one of the reasons, also based on research, I don't have numbers here to prove, but there's data all over the internet about this. One of the reasons why international companies seek to hire, out of their geographical location is first because there's a shortage of talent locally, right? There's a shortage of talent locally, and they are trying to explore other talent pools. Not just shortage of talent in general, but shortage of talent with that particular skill, right? And then also, second reason that I'm going to give you is that they have business in that country. So like the place I worked last, Tunga, they had business in Nigeria, right? Part of their operations was in Nigeria. Part of the operation was in Uganda. Part of the operation was in Kenya, even other African countries, right? But those were like the major hubs. So they had some people who were on their team who were Nigerians, some were Ugandans, some were Kenyans. And then in Europe itself, they had people who are from the Netherlands, people in Bosnia, people who were living in the UK, and a couple of other European countries. So why are they doing this? Is because there's business there. So why did they come to Nigeria? I'm just giving you a practical example so that you can now use that to make a decision on the kind of companies that you are targeting. Why are they doing that? In Nigeria, they were looking for Nigerian software developers. So of course, they needed a team who can help them access talent in Nigeria. they were looking for Uganda, they were looking for African software developers. So they need Africans to access Africans, right? So they might not really, they can't scale by going by themselves, white person, you don't really know the language, you don't really know the culture fully, you can't really vibe, you don't really understand the market, you don't understand the terrain, you just want to, access talent and that's all. So, and also, there's also the legal and compliance part of it. That's boring stuff. You don't need to worry about that. But I'm just trying to show you that there's a reason why there's this cross hiring, across the board or across continents. There's a logical reason. It's not just because they love you. They may love you, but I mean, it's always business first for most of them, right? So two reasons that I've given you is either there's a shortage of talent with that particular skill that the skill in question in their own local environment, the shortage of it, or they have operations or business to do in any other country, whether in Africa in general as a continent or some specific African countries. Another reason, bonus reason, third reason is that their local talent is more expensive. So they are looking for cheaper talent. So they most likely always come to Africa for that. So even with that, now there's competition. So what I'm going to tell you today would help you to stand out and miss the competition, because if Europeans or Americans are coming to Africa to hire software developers, they want to pay lesser, right? And of course, if you look at the exchange rate, it pays us as Africans, in quotes, depending on your lifestyle. It pays us. By the time we exchange it, you are probably one of the richest people, and all of that. You are in the top 1% at the end of the day. So you're good. But for them, that's like mid salary or low end salary, right? But so it's like a win-win situation. So they get to pay less, compared to their local talent. So now coming back to my slide, that's just the background. So I've given you 3 reasons why any company want to hire you. Any company that is not non-Nigerian or non-African would like to hire you remotely. So any of those 3 reasons, there might be other reasons, but let's just stick with those 3 for now. So what do you do now as a talent who is trying to become a global talent? You want to be globally sought after. You have to gain a globally sought after skill. So I would have done a poll if we had more time, if this was a full-blown training. I'd have done a poll just to know, the areas of expertise of each person and maybe just talk along the line. But I'll just use random skills so that, anyone, if it relates to you, you can just pick it up or you can just apply it to your own context. So globally sought after skill in general are mostly tech skills, mostly tech skills or tech related skills, particularly software development or engineering, and now AI, machine learning, data and science, data analytics. Those are skills that are like most in-demand skills. If you Google in-demand skills globally, you find a lot of blogs. I remember Tunga also did, research around that. So we'll probably also have an article. You can check it. You find the top 10 in-demand skills globally or top 10 in-demand skills for remote talent. So your research skill is important when you are seeking global opportunities. I'll talk more about that later, but just take notes. That's another thing. You have to be willing to do some research because you're trying to be more strategic. So most in-demand skills, mostly tech, the ones I've mentioned are like top of the list. Then we can now begin to think around writers. Project managers are also part, but it's very, very, it depends, right? Product managers, project managers, product marketing, they are also one of that. But the top of the list are software development or software developers, machine learning, AI, data, related skills and all that. So those are the top of the list, and followed by managers, project managers and all that. And then for those who have operations, for international companies who have operations in Nigeria or in any other African country, then they will be able to easily hire other skills. So you need to know all of these factors, weigh all of these factors when you're trying to search for, apply, or obtain a skill. So you want to know, are you trying to target companies who have operations in Africa or companies who are operating in their country or their region, but are willing to hire talent from here to work with them? So let's quickly rush through. I spent a lot of time on that, but I feel like that's like a lot of information that will really, really help. In fact, if that's the only thing you take away, is you would actually make a lot of headway. So how do you select the skill? Uh, because you are trying to become a global talent, you're not trying to, act haphazardly. You're not trying to just do everything. So you have to understand what's my area of greatest strength. Now, this can be measured in different ways by different people, depending on your level, on your professional level. So if you are just starting out, say you are an undergraduate or fresh graduate with zero work experience, easy for you. You can now choose a niche. I know you can learn everything, but know which one is the primary area that you're trying to build in. It will really help you, right? Along the line to help you. Take this from somebody who has been, doing this for almost a decade. It will help you if you have a primary area that you're building. You can have other skills, you can have other areas because you have interest in them, learn them, but always have something that is primary so that that one you can say, oh, I've been doing this for 5 years, I've been doing this for 10 years, right? And then you have the skills and all of that to back it up. So know where your area of greatest strength. If you're mid-career or you've already progressed, just look back at your history. You can even use a CV to, to gauge which area did you have the most experience in. Okay, so if you're a project manager, you've got project management, then you did a bit of marketing, you did a bit of content writing somewhere in a particular company, and then you tried your hand at software development a little bit, you learned coding and you ran away, it was too hard, and then you quickly learned some data or Excel. You have to sit down and look at all of those things. Which one did I, number one, have the most experience in? Which one do I have the most results in? Another thing you must note about international organizations, they are result driven. Most, in fact, all compared to Nigeria that I've based on what I've seen. So I've worked with Nigerian organization and I've worked with Nigerian clients, international clients, and I can tell you that they are more result driven, right? It's not just about the activity or the effort. They are all about they are about the bottom line, right? They appreciate your efforts, but okay, so what's the outcome? They want to know. So you need to know, okay, so I mean, for those who are mid-career already, you've already progressed, you are not entry level, you've done some things for a few years, say like 4 or 5 years. So you need to be able to look back at your history critically. So where have I spent the most of my time? Where have I gathered the most skill and experience? And where have I had the most results? But number three, I have to rush through. Pursue internationally recognized certifications. Yes. So project managers are a project manager, senior project manager. So I can tell you, if you're a project manager, you need to pursue PMP certification. In fact, almost all the job roles, they will say it's either it's required or it's a plus. And if it's a plus, there are people, a lot of people in other countries, Indians, Pakistan, those are people you are competing with. You're not just competing with other Nigerians. You're competing with people from India. Those are places where talents are. And I'm telling you this also from perspective, not just of someone that has, applied to jobs from somebody who has worked with a company that is also trying to get jobs for Africans, right? I tell you, Indians are your competitors, Pakistanis, and they are intelligent too, right? It's just that their English might not be as good as yours, which is one of the advantages that Nigeria has, particularly, as well as other African countries. So other countries like that, I think Philippines as well, they're also your competitors. So try to make yourself stand out by getting internationally recognized certifications in your field. PMI, if you're into management, PMI has a lot of certifications for product managers, for project managers, for forgotten agile, if you're into agile, scrum, all of that, gain internationally recognized skill certifications. And also for developers, I believe there are some which I can't mention right now, but whatever niche you are in or building in, try to find which certifications are internationally recognized. You can take Udemy courses to learn. You can take Google courses are also recognized to some extent. You can take LinkedIn courses too, but there are also some professional certifications. So professional certifications for certain fields that you might want to consider depending on where you are at. Then learn the tools. It's not just about, I know this, oh, I know that. You might think that it's normal. Before I thought using Google Workspace was just regular. Everybody can use Google Docs. Everybody can use. No, not everybody can. So you have to take note of the tools of your trade. So which tools are peculiar to your skill set? Um, as a PM, now this is PM a lot because I'm a PM. As a PM, I can use Asana to manage project, ClickUp, Monday.com, Trello, Jira, Confluence to manage projects or Microsoft projects. And for me, I have not used all these tools, but I know I can easily adapt to any technology, when it comes to this. So I can include them. If I've had one or two experiences, I include them on my portfolio or CV or whatever. So for you, whatever the tools of your trade, Google Workspace is also important. Some Slack, these are things that you should include on your LinkedIn. So I'll probably rush through. I'll talk about them later, but still take note of whatever I say now because of time. So the next is learn the basic communication and collaboration tools. So Zoom, for example, do you know how to use Zoom? Because you are looking for remote opportunities, right? You want to work in a remote setting. Do you know how to use Zoom? Not everybody does. Do you know how to use Google Meetup, Google Meet? Do you know how to use Slack? There was one that we used in my um, previous organization. It's called Twist. It's owned by Todoist. I don't know if you know Todoist. Todoist also has a project management software and also task management, basically. So there are several tools for collaboration, so that you need to also learn how to use. Then your communication and cultural awareness skills are the most important. So all of these things that you're seeing on this list, they are like top priority that you want to pay attention to. So you might even want to write down this list, that I have put here. They are so, so important. Just write them down and like put your own answer beside it for your own context. What is it? Communication and cultural awareness. Communication, can you talk? Can you express yourself in English language? You know, can you can you make the other party understand what you're saying? You don't have to know the big drama. You don't even have to use an accent. In fact, that's the worst thing you will ever do. They know you are Nigerian, so don't try to sound American. Just talk. But you can, of course, make it, you know, flow better if you can, but I feel like as you work with them, it sort of just helps you to speak better. But at the level you are, just speak. Just your focus or your most important thing is to ensure that you are passing across the message clearly in as simple way as possible. But also, if you are professional, use your professional language, but don't use it in the context of people that might not understand you. If you do, explain it. Oh, if you use the acronym CRM, not everybody knows what that means. So you might want to explain what it means. If you use an acronym, there are several other acronyms. I don't want to go into that, but I'm just trying to tell you that speak clearly, right? So I feel like a mindset of humility will actually help you to communicate better because now you're just trying to get people on board what you're trying to say. And that helps a lot. That helps a lot. Okay. In Tunga, we recruit for clients, right? For European clients, for clients from all over the place. And one of the tests that we do is communications test. This is a live test, right? One of the talent manager is basically speaking to you. So they want to know whether you can communicate. By the time we push you to the client is also judging your communication skills because you people are from different contexts, different backgrounds, different countries, different nationality. So they want to see whether when you guys communicate about the work, the message is still passed across regardless of background. So you see why your communication is like top of the list when it comes to the kind of skills that you need to have. Then cultural awareness. Are you able to accommodate people from other backgrounds without, any number one discrimination? Or are you also able to adapt to their culture? Are you open-minded? I'm not saying that you take their ideas or their values. I'm saying that to their whatever behavior they have that might have been influenced by their culture without making them feel like something is wrong. Their cultural beliefs are not all negatives, but they might not be the same as you. Even the positive ones might not be yours. So are you open? Are you curious about it and able to adapt? If they say, oh, we used to do something back then called fika, it was like a virtual coffee date. So are you open to that, or are you like, oh, I'm just about the work. I can't be wasting my time just chatting for like 30 minutes on random things. They will feel like you're not a fit for the team. Trust me, that can get you fired because they feel like you are not just personable. So you have to know how to develop relationships even virtually. So let's move on quickly. I spent a lot of time in that. I will just note some. So note the list of sites that I put here. There are millions, okay, no millions, that's an exaggeration. I wish I could get reactions. If you're with me, I know we are not many on this Zoom, but if you're with me, just I think there's a reaction button somewhere on Zoom. Just react. Let me see. Thank you, additional Christiana. Yeah. So I just want to say that, we are together still. So this is a list of sites where you can find global opportunities, remote roles, basically. LinkedIn is at the top of the list, and is LinkedIn I'll talk about the most. Every other one is sort of self-explanatory, and there are several others. Indeed and Glassdoor, they own each other. You probably find similar opportunities there posted. You can find from any countries. You can use the filters. Welcome to the jungle.com is also well known. They post international and remote opportunities. Wellfound.com. Workatastartup.com is owned by Y Combinator. So if you're looking for startups that receive funding from Y Combinator, you can go to workatastartup.com. They also hire from Nigeria. In fact, Nigerian companies also post their jobs there. Nigerian companies who were part of Y Combinator's accelerator program and got funding, they also post their jobs there. So you find remote roles, you find roles from the US as well there. Then Google Careers, Google has a career page. Just write Google Careers on Google and you find it. Jubo, I recently discovered this one, but this one is mostly for Nigerian roles, but you find remote roles there as well. rkycareers.com, I also recently discovered this. GitHub, you find roles, but this might be more useful to software developers and similar. Then communities, there are WhatsApp communities across different platforms that post roles, even on LinkedIn. So then Opportunity Desk, I think if you're looking for grants and fellowships, you find them here. Newsletter, as an example, is Sisterly HQ. I I subscribe to their newsletter and they share lots of opportunities. You can just put this on Google and subscribe to their newsletter. They not only post jobs, they also post grants, they post fellowships. I think once per week. You get the newsletter once per week. Very, very solid stuff. So you might want to subscribe. There are others, but this one is one I actively use. The company website. If you have companies that you particularly want to work with, you can always go directly to their website and go to the careers section of the website to access opportunities. Sometimes I can assume that a lot of people do this, but it's possible that you don't. So add it to your strategy when you are seeking or looking for opportunities. So if you want to work at Google, go to their website, go to Google Careers. If you want to work at what's that big company? If you want to work at Amazon, you can go to their careers page. Several companies, if you know their name, just Google, go to their website and go to their career section. Most likely they posted the job there. Now to LinkedIn. I'm going to spend a lot of time on LinkedIn because I found LinkedIn to be one of the most useful of all. One of the most useful, one of the most accurate, but it's not 100% accurate as well. So you have to also be smart even when you're using those tools. So LinkedIn, first of all, I'll start with this very new discovery that I made. It probably has been around for a while, but I just recently discovered that LinkedIn now has different tiers for their premium version. And it was so exciting to see. Before, LinkedIn had only two options. I've used both. It had Sales Navigator and Recruiter options. So I've used Recruiter when I used to source for talent. And I've also used Sales Navigator when I used to source for clients. So I did both sides. And I discovered recently that they now have two more premium options. One for career, if you're seeking a job opportunity, and another for businesses, if you're seeking, connection with your target audience, relevant potential clients. So I would advise you, if you have 8K to spare, even if it's just for that 1 month. In fact, I think if you subscribe, you probably get a month free. I don't know, I'm not sure. But if you subscribe 8K, you have at least, I don't know the number, but you have access to send DMs even to people that you're not connected to. So you might want to leverage this for recruiters, sending DMs to recruiters or job posters or hiring managers. You would also have access to more insights about jobs that match your profile. So we'll still talk a bit about LinkedIn profile. So you have more insights about jobs that match your profile, based on what you've entered there. They can, help you look at jobs and just advise on that. You also gain more visibility, and then you can see who is looking at your profile. Do you know that LinkedIn thing where it tell you that, oh, somebody from social company just saw just viewed your profile. You're wondering, who is that person? You get to see it. Or 5 people just viewed your profile, and you can't see if you're not on premium, you can't really see who, whether it's relevant to you, whether you start getting excited or something like that. So with premium, you can actually get that. I'm not a LinkedIn ambassador or anything. So I'm just telling you because I feel like this is a very useful tool. If you have 8K for a month, you can do it for a month. You can do it for a month and sit down with your search. If you're actively seeking a role, you can sit down with that for a month, implementing the strategies I've been talking about and I'll still talk about, and see what you can get in a month. I believe that you can secure your opportunity within a month. And if you want to continue to do it, it's 8K. It's actually affordable. The other, if I tell you how much sales nav is like 70 something thousand, recruiter is currently like 100 and something thousand. So them bringing this was a very nice move for them and also good for you. So try to get on LinkedIn Premium if you can. It will help your search. So I also noticed that LinkedIn, a lot of companies, international companies particularly, post jobs on LinkedIn. And so you are more likely to gain access to jobs. And LinkedIn has some very interesting filters that you need to learn to use if you are not already doing that. So it's easy to use. When you see just select, you can select remote, select the location that you want the company to be, select company size if you care about that, select industry if you care about that, type in your desired goal, if you care about that, and then put that in. It will give you a list. And not only will it give you a list, you can also set an alert. So if you look at, once you type in all the filters, just keep looking at the interface, you see a button where you can click set alert. So that means it's going to send you roles that fit those criteria to you by mail. So when jobs are posted from different companies and it fits the criteria you already said, we set the alert for that particular job search filter. I would have loved to show you. I didn't prepare for that. Okay. We don't even have the time anyway. But if you can picture what I'm saying, if you've done it before, easy for you. But if you've not, you have to just play with LinkedIn a little bit, LinkedIn jobs, the job section. So if you set alert to send it to your mail, I don't know, maybe daily. It could be daily or every 2 days or something, but definitely more than once per week. It will send you new jobs that are posted. So you can do that. I'll still talk a lot more about LinkedIn and how to search for opportunities there on my next slide, which is the Boolean search. So Boolean search is simple, right? One secret about Boolean search, again, from my experience as a recruiter, we use this to search for talent on LinkedIn. Don't tell any HR person, right? I'm giving you their secret. So we use this to search for talent on LinkedIn, right? So when an HR person is searching for talent on LinkedIn that they're trying to invite to apply to a particular role, they would search for a particular keyword, most likely skill. So I'm looking for a C++ developer. So I'm going to put C++. I might put software developer, I may not, but C++. Maybe I just want the person to also have small knowledge of Java. I'm not a developer, so I might be saying some things that might not be correct, but I'm just giving you an idea of how it works, how a recruiter searches. So I might put some, maybe Java or something, add it there. I might put an industry. I might write fintech. I might put fintech, and put it there. So these 3 keywords, I put it into my recruiter, because that's the LinkedIn Premium for if you're trying to recruit talent, you can use recruiter. As I said, I've used that before. So I put these 3 keywords, C++, Java, And what was the third one again? Can somebody put in the chat for me? I forgot. Can somebody put it in chat? Let me even see if we're engaged. What's the third thing? C++, Java, and nobody? Okay, because of time. Fintech, right? I put it into my recruiter. It brings out a list of developers who have these keywords in their profile. So in their profile can be in their job, in their experience section, it can be in their about section, it can be in that profile summary on LinkedIn. You know, that small profile summary where people, say they are the #1 digital marketer in Africa, where people put a lot of wonderful things. So it can be anywhere on their profile, but as long as it's in their profile, it adds them to the list. Then the recruiter can now add Nigeria or Sierra Leone. So just to put context for location. So all of the developers in Nigeria who have C++ and Java skills and experience in the fintech industry appears in a list. And the recruiter can now begin to invite them to apply to a role or invite them to an interview directly. So this is the way you can optimize yourself. I don't know if my next slide will talk about that. Okay. So, but this is the way recruiters, act or think most of the time, especially international recruiters. So now, how do you do this? If you are not a recruiter, but you are a job seeker or you're an opportunity seeker, you can leverage the Boolean search and do exactly the same things. Use keywords, leverage keywords. So if you see my screen, you can see, a simple format that I just put. The term or the conjunctions or and means something. Or means either this or this. This or this can be in the post or in the job description or in the profile or whatever, as long as I'm just putting it. So my sample #1 says growth operations and okay, let me see the one I use for. Yeah, sample 2. If you look at sample 2, it says IT project manager or project manager. That simply means any job that was posted that is named or titled IT project manager or titled project manager should appear on my list. But LinkedIn is even smarter than that. It will bring other related project management roles. It can even bring digital project manager. It can bring implementation. It can bring some other roles. But you can start with this, right? IT project manager or project manager. What you're telling LinkedIn is that show me jobs that either have IT project manager or project manager as their title. So you should bring both. That's what it means. And means that sample 1, if you look at sample 1, growth operations and remote, that is, both of them must be compulsorily in a single job. I hope I'm clear with this. I feel like some people might be confused. I'm trying to tell you the difference between using or and for search. It's called Boolean search. This whole concept is called Boolean search. So if you're using or to join two keywords together, it means that it can be this. If it is IT project manager, bring it, I want to see it. If it is project manager, bring it, I want to see it. They can be different roles. Those keywords can be used by different companies. Fine, I just want to see from both companies. And is that it must surely have both in a single company. So it means that growth operations, and it must be remote. It must be remote. LinkedIn can now bring you both remote and hybrid, but hybrid is like half remote. So I guess it makes sense for LinkedIn. But what I'm going to say is that if you use and, you want, you're adding like a compulsory factor to it that you must bring both. So that's how to use these two conjunctions, in Boolean search. And when you're using the quotation marks, it means that it must be this specific words. So growth and operations together, quotation marks. The brackets can also be used for context. Maybe you want to add, just the way I did in sample 1, you want to add like different keywords together, use conjunction in between, and put this and the way I put it here, right? So that's basically what that means. So I don't know if you got it, but I really hope that you do. I still have a few slides to go, but take note of Boolean search. It's really important. It helps you. Recruiters also use it as well. So I basically talked about my first point, under how to optimize for global visibility. Now, remember I talked about keyword rich profiles. I talk about how they would search for certain keyword. Remember C++, Java, fintech, Sierra Leone. So skills, C++, or skills software developer, tech, C++ and Java, industry can be there. I didn't add it on my slide. Industry, fintech, that is, you have experience in the fintech industry. Tools, whatever tools a developer has used. Maybe the developer can use Copilot. Yeah, the new AI tools that developers love nowadays, Copilot. So if Copilot is on your profile, so if you add all of these keywords together as a recruiter, you can actually get certain developers who fit into the particular job description that you have, or the kind of talent you are looking for. So as somebody who is seeking recruiters to find them, you want to put all of this together into your profile strategically, right? So if you're a project manager, for example, you can do this as well. Skills. What is the skill of a project manager to manage projects? Of course, you can use certain keywords like project delivery. Sorry, I can't really check charts because I'm trying to, push for time. You can put project delivery. You can put cross-functional teams management. You can use the word end-to-end implementation. If you have experience in IT project management, you can put managing software teams. Those are just keywords that are peculiar to a particular job role. If you're more of a creative project manager, that is, you manage creative projects, you can include the word creative, the word digital. If you're an IT project manager, you can include the word website management. You can include the word workflow. All of those things. As you're building, also leverage ChatGPT, of course, or Claude, or Claudia, as we call it in my house. So you can leverage that to find the most relevant keywords for your role. This should also present in your CV. So not just LinkedIn, also your CV. And as project manager, I mentioned some tools earlier, include them on your LinkedIn and your CV. So if you have used Jira before, put it there, Asana, Monday.com. These are tools that global organizations use, and that's what they will search for if they are looking for you, right? So that's how you optimize for visibility. So clear details on experience. Experience is not about writing everything. It's just about writing the most relevant things. What I say for LinkedIn applies to your CV in some of these contexts. So just also apply it to your CV as well. So for experience, as I said, they are result oriented. So it's not just about writing what you did. So what was the outcome of what you did? It's that outcome they want to hear the most. So did you help to close a 10 million naira deal as a sales manager or a sales executive? How many web pages were you able to design? Or that's for a UI UX designer, or maybe I don't have the right thing for that, but you get what I'm trying to say. What was the outcome of what you did, right? What was the result? What was the impact of what you did, right? As a marketer or as a digital marketer, not only should you tell me the number of likes or engagement, so how did that impact on the revenue? So that would be so interesting for an international recruiter. Don't just tell them, oh, you were able to grow the page, tell them that, but also say, okay, this now impacted into a turnover of this, or conversion rates. There was a conversion rate of, say, 20%, of that, of the number of leads you generated, or the number of engagements you got in a particular post, how many people converted, or what percentage were converted to paying clients. So what does that say? It doesn't mean that you are expected to be the salesperson. It just means that, oh, you were able to get relevant leads. The leads you got are not just random people. They are people who fit into the target audience of that company. So that's for a marketer. So you just apply this for your context as well. So focus on the outcomes, the impact, and then work on case studies. I wish I had done this even more in my last organization. I wish I had, documented more of my case study. So if you're mid-career, you're already working somewhere, you're trying to prepare yourself, you're like, this Q2 that we are entering into, I'm getting my international job. All the works that you've done, turn them into case studies. This will help you when you are redrafting your CV. It will help you when you are trying to optimize your LinkedIn as well, and when you are preparing for interviews or trying to answer questions on applications. Um, you can also have a portfolio. So you can use platforms like Notion, Behance mostly for designers, Notion, anybody can use that, or Google Docs or GitHub, mostly for developers, for your portfolio, right? So your case studies can appear on your portfolio or your personal website, which can be forwarded to a recruiter directly or put on a job application. Then product demos, if you're a product developer, product designer, product manager even, have a demo. Then code base, that's for developers. Then KPI and metrics, I've said that let what you have done be measurable, focus on the outcomes. Then one very important thing, tailor profiles and portfolio to roles. So remember when I first started, I said, find the area of your greatest strength. So it means that you're not trying to tailor yourself for multiple roles. You are not digital marketer. Under digital marketing is broad. So under digital marketing, don't just position yourself as a digital marketer particularly. Have a primary area of expertise so that you would have a lot of evidence for that area and they can hire you for that. Of course, you can call yourself a digital marketer, but are you very good with ads management? Do you always have results when you run ads? Are you very good with social media management, or are you very good with content creation? So that will be the highlight of your profile. So that you can now tailor your portfolio and your CV and your LinkedIn majorly for that. But of course, you can still be a digital marketer who understands all of these areas. Are you really good at SEO? So, or SEM? So you can actually know the area of strength and also target such opportunities, not just every digital marketing opportunity, right? So then country specific, the way US structures their CV is different from UK. I won't say much about that. You can find out more about that. Then the requirements, I think I've talked a lot about this, so I'm going to just rush through. I have like 4 minutes left. How do you navigate cross-border requirements? Communication, I've talked about it, is top of the list, trust me. Then confidence. I realized that a lot of Africans think that white people are smarter than them. Nobody says this out loud, but I've thought about it and I feel like it's true, especially for Africans who have not really worked with people who look white. People who look white, they could be Europeans, they could be Americans, they could be from any country. Trust me, they are not smarter than you. In fact, sometimes you are the smartest person in the room. Don't tell them I said that. But it's the truth, right? So you have to be confident, even if it's a little bit that you know. Be confident about it. Speak about it clearly. You know, you be the king in your own domain. What do you know? Be confident, communicate it. And, let them be able to say, oh, for ads management, this guy is good, right? Then conducive virtual work environment and space. You see, before we started, I was not using a blurry background. So you could see my curtain and my burglary. Don't do that. Or try as much as possible not to do that in the virtual work environment. It could be a funny stuff, right? It's not like it's bad, right? It's not like they are going to crucify you for that. They're not going to crucify you for that, but as much as possible, especially if you are attending an interview, use blurry backgrounds, use virtual backgrounds that work, not the ones that will be cutting off your face, cutting off your head, but just use what works. And I thank God for platforms like Zoom and Meet. It helps really well. The virtual work environment, noise, you can get noise canceling headphones and all of that, so manage that. And if you have access to a table and chair, all good, use that. Growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. So there's always more to learn. Be ready to fail and don't be ashamed of failure. Just show that you're willing to learn. Then cultural and situational awareness. I've talked a bit about this. Self-awareness, mostly really know what you're strongest in, right? Your area of greatest strength. Be very, very aware of that. My time is up. Please give me like 2 minutes. Let me round up. Then honesty is key. I realize that honesty is so, so important. Not that you will tell them the story of your life, but it's basically just growth mindset. They prefer you to say, oh, I don't have so much knowledge about this, but I think I'm going to look it up. Than for you to say, Oh, yes, I know you can be saying rubbish when they ask you questions. So if you show that, oh, you're willing to, I've literally been in a place where somebody was preferred or hired for a role, even though they didn't know everything, they didn't get all the answers in the interview, a developer. So because that's where I worked, recruiting for African developers, as I've been repeating. So they were still hired because the client was like, oh, this person was just saying, okay, not on every question, but on a particular area. They were like, oh, I don't really have much knowledge about this, but I'm really eager to learn more about it. And, I'm curious to know what else I can learn around this particular subject. And they still got hired. So it's not a bad word to say you don't know say it in a nice way. Don't just say I don't know and that's it. Say it the way I have said. Then global mindset, almost done. Growth mindset, I've talked about this. Invest in thinking skills. In this AI era, if you can think well, you succeed, right? AI can do a lot of things. You just have to be able to think about how you can leverage AI. Every role now they are saying be able to use AI skill, be able to build automation or workflows or whatever. Especially if you're a project manager now, they are now requiring some workflow skills, some automation skills, some little AI skills. Even for marketing roles, they now want to know whether you can use ChatGPT and Claude without it sounding like a machine. So what is left? How you think? Can you think? Do you have critical, creative thinking skills? Can you solve real problems? Because aside from these, there are real problems. There are real problems. So I think Innovate Lab has some courses around this. If you're yet to take it, you can just use that. Then be adaptable, quick to learn new skills and tools. So as I said, that there are some project management tools that I've not used, but I'm not afraid. I can tell them that, oh, I can learn this in like a couple of hours. And that's true. It's just about adaptability and being familiar with technology. So be ready to learn and show them and tell them that you can learn it. So then learn industry keywords for your role for better positioning. So I've talked about keywords a lot. So you have to go and learn the one that is relevant to you and put it everywhere on your profile. There are some things that you're saying now. You're saying what you've done is for real, but you're not using the keywords that they understand. Do you get me? You're not using the keyword that a recruiter from um the US understands. So they won't find you or they might not, they are ATS. So there's something we call applicant tracking system. I didn't have time, but I've talked about that. I've used that also. And that's how most of the time they sieve the CVs. Sieve, SIEVE, the CVs, right? So if your CV does not have certain keywords, it doesn't make it through to the next stage. So that's why keywords that are globally recognized for that industry or for that niche, you have to know them and present yourself using those keywords, right? Then speak up and believe in yourself. That's self-explanatory. Then the F factor, the most important part. So I'll just tell you a couple of stories and I'm going to end this. I've had a few experiences with the F factor. So the F means favor, actually. Is indeed the favor market. And this is me speaking from a recruiter's perspective. The fact that you got the job does not necessarily mean you were the best. Believe me, I've recruited for the company. I hope you can still hear me. My headphones are low right now, but I hope you can still hear me. I've recruited for clients, but I've also recruited people to work on my team. And my husband was just telling me yesterday that he thinks that the person I recruited last, I recruited her because she bears his name, one of his names. And I'm like, I didn't actually think about that. Because now looking back, there are two people who were like top of the list, were really good. In fact, my colleagues, we call each other colleagues, but the directors, they were really for the other person, but I was defending this other girl. They're both Nigerians, right? So, but they were the last two. So who should we hire? So it's basically you are seen out to determine somebody's destiny. So who should we hire? And I'm like, is this girl? Is this girl? She's the best. She's young. She's this. She's that. I'm going to train her. She's going to work. And I hired her. So I wonder if that decision was because she had a name that I was familiar with, a name that somebody that is close to me is bearing. But I've also experienced that on a different level, not even regarding a job, where somebody gave me access because of my name. She was like, "Oh, I'm bearing the name of her daughter." And she helped me until I got what I was looking for. So I'm telling you, favor is real. Everybody has something, whether you're a Christian, Muslim, whatever, everybody has something that they are depending on to help them get what they are trying to get. So if you're trying to get a job, an opportunity, a grant, all of these things, favor is important. You have to pray for favor. And not only does favor also helps you to stand out, it increases the wisdom you need to secure the opportunity. Sometimes when we are praying for favor, you are able to get ideas. Oh, I can tweak this. I can position myself for this. I can search for these opportunities instead and all of that. Then, um, with wisdom, you're able to strategically position yourself better. So, that'll be the end of my session. I hope you have been able to pick one or two things or more things, that you begin to apply from here on. I want to talk a bit about, okay, practical steps to optimize your search. Basically, what you can start to do immediately. Have a daily or weekly target. I want to apply to 10 jobs every day, 5 jobs every day. Or day one, I want to work on my CV. Perfect. Day two, I'll review the CV and send it to one or two recruiters in my network to help me review as well. Day three, I'm going to make a list of the job titles that I'm going to use to search for my own role, because different companies sometimes have slightly different job titles. So you want to check for that as well. Then day four, I'm going to start applying to five jobs every single day, to the end of the month. And then reach out to recruiters and hiring managers in DMs. So when you apply, try to see who posted the job or who is a recruiter in that company. Try to send them a DM, tell them you applied, and you'll be really happy to work with them. Basically, your name. So name favor is also, it also works a strategy, as I said. So praying for favor will give you strategy. So basically, you've registered your name in their consciousness. So when they are looking through the applicants, if they once they come across your CV, favor is also practical, right? Once they come across your CV, it's like this is the second time they're encountering that name. So there's a way, I believe in psychology, they will just take a second look, most likely moving forward, by God's grace. Then save answers to key application questions. If you're applying, you want to apply to 50 jobs in a month. Sometimes the questions in different applications are very similar. So that you'll not be doing multiple jobs, save the answer you drafted and just keep using it and just tweaking it a bit. Then leverage your personal and professional network. Let people close to you know that, oh, I'm seeking for this type of role. If they see any, just send me a link. I'll be really excited to have that. So I think that's the end. Yeah, I just want to talk about this, but maybe after the Q&A. So thank you so much, everybody, for listening and for your time. I hope you've been able to take note of some practical steps to securing your next opportunity, your next global opportunity. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. This is amazing. Well, please give Tinder a round of applause. Share, send yeah, react to it, send stickers. You can also use the chats. So packed. Like I was here smiling, and when you say like, oh, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about that, I like, oh my God, we can we can actually keep speaking to you for like hours. And of course, this is just so deep. Yeah, thank you, Caleb. Caleb said this is deep. Yeah, that's it. That's the word. Like, okay, so thank you so much, Tim. This it's been amazing. Thank you for sharing those very valuable stuff. I took some screenshots myself, and so well done for that. So we have a few questions here, though. Yes, okay. I think Caleb dropped some questions. So please, we're going to be doing this quickly. I know that we have kind of stretched beyond that time, but this is a valuable session. You may not get this again, right? So this is something that probably just stick a bit more close to your screen, either you're using PC or phone. Let's just round this up. And yeah, it's something valuable. So I want to say that we should still take questions, except if our speaker is in a hurry, but all of us we are here for this, right? So if you have a question, maybe you want to raise your hand and speak, you can do that now while I read Caleb's question. Okay, so any other question after this? I mean, after I'm done reading and you have not indicated your interest in asking a question, I may not be able to take that again. So Caleb said here, If I get the Boolean search well, does this mean I will automatically and instantly receive job opportunities once they are posted? Yeah, I think I will leave that for you to answer. And if I will get it, where will I get it? Is it LinkedIn notification? Is it my Gmail or both? So, sure, Caleb wants to know if he's using the search style that you shared. Is it going to be that, let's see, we get an automatic notification when this recruiter or whoever is the company is looking for talent or something? And yes, I think let's take it one after the other. Yeah, I think I answered that. Sorry if you're speaking, you're muted, tell me that. Yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah, I got that. So, as I mentioned, once you put in the search, if you put in the search directly into so there's a search, they call it function, the search bar on LinkedIn. If you just go to LinkedIn and you use the search bar and you use a string, they call it a string, the Boolean search thing, they call the keyword and or, quotation marks and all of that, they call it a string. You just put it into the search bar. LinkedIn will most likely it will take you to a page where you will see jobs, posts, companies, people. So because you're searching for a job, you want to focus on two parts. You want to focus on the jobs and you want to focus on the posts. I'll tell you why you focus on the posts in a minute. But if you focus on the jobs, you can click to see more. It will take you to the job section of the app. So there's once you're on the job section, you see some jobs that fall under the category of your string. And you would also see set, I've forgotten exactly how they wrote it, but set this alert as an alert or set job alert or something. So you just click on. So you have to trigger the button to click on. And once you do that, it's going to save that string. It's going to save that string right there. And then it's going to be giving you notification both on LinkedIn and by mail. So in fact, you'll be getting it more on LinkedIn notification. So you have to be active on LinkedIn now. You guys don't like LinkedIn. It's still intimidating. But I tell you, my LinkedIn is like my favorite social media app. But most people don't like it. I don't know why. Okay, I know why. But what I'm trying to say is that you get more notifications on LinkedIn than even your email. It will send to your email as well. Maybe like depending on the number of strings that you save. So it is maybe per string, it can send you jobs once per day, job notification once per day or twice per day, or once in 2 days, right? Depending on how because there's always a peak season when it comes to hiring as well. So beginning of the year is a peak season, end of the year towards the end of the year, kind of is a peak season. But there's a time called summer. So in Europe, they really value their summer. So during summer, there'll be very low job opportunities, especially international jobs. So summer is around July, August. But you didn't ask me that, but that's just an aside, right? So if you are targeting certain continents, to understand US, they don't really do summer, but Europe people, they like to rest. So US most likely you find for most of the year, but even during summer, the job posted will go a bit low. But the peak season, most of the time is the beginning of the year. So it will bring out a lot of jobs, and especially at the peak season, and send it to your email and also your LinkedIn notification. Then the post, I said I'll talk about posts. If you use your string that you created, to do the Boolean search, um, and you click on post, most likely you find posts that are job posts. So sometimes people post jobs and just put a link to the company's website. So you find that as well, and you can just leverage that because some companies don't even use LinkedIn jobs. Yes, some companies don't use LinkedIn jobs. So yeah, I hope I answered that question completely.
Yes, yes, I think that's very, very detailed. Yeah, yeah, like it's very important to know that. Yeah, but Caleb also has some other questions. I think Caleb, I'm seeing like two other questions from Caleb. I think Caleb is taking the entire Q&A tonight. So and this is good because he is a fresh graduate, and I think this is very helpful, very, very helpful. He said, Ma, you mentioned of CV. as a fresh graduate looking for opportunities, not even knowing which one to start with, e.g. job roles, scholarship, internship, summer school, etc. How do I position my CV well for all this? Because there's gonna certainly be some tweaks, okay? Or is it advisable to focus on one at a time? So is it and then I think the follow-up question is what's different between resume, CV, and portfolio? So maybe just want to give him a few detail on this, like what does it mean to have a like no experience CV and all of that, and what how do you differentiate job roles, CV for job role, CV for scholarship, CV for internship, and what's different between resume, CV, and portfolio? Yeah,
Okay. I hope you can still hear me. If you don't hear me, please let me know because my
I can
headphones
I can
battery.
I can I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So you're a fresh graduate. You're just, coming out. Interestingly, in today's Nigeria, fresh graduates, a lot of fresh graduates have like 2 to 3 years of experience already. But if you're a fresh graduate that do not have any, should I say, structured or corporate work experience, like corporate, not in the sense of the word corporate, but like within a company, a registered company. Have you volunteered? That's what you should put on your CV. The courses that you've taken, you have to have done at least two of these two things. You have to have taken courses and volunteered somewhere in that skill or niche that you're trying to build a career in, right? These two would help you. It will help you secure internships. It can also help you secure certain job roles where they are looking for 0 to 2 years of experience. Some people will apply zero years experience will apply. In fact, people who have 5 years experience will also apply to that same role because people are looking for jobs, right? So, but one thing that can stand you out is the courses that you've taken. So, like I said, you can leverage free courses. You can also leverage paid courses. You guys know the platforms to use. Um, Udemy, Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, Google, and several other platforms like private companies that train on tech skills. There are many of them, popular ones, Utiva, Andela has training, even Tunga has training. So several others. So get trained and put it there on your CV and volunteer. If you're trying to be a community manager, go and look for one social impact organization, NGO, or or even an individual that you can volunteer with. Then you can write it as your experience. You don't even necessarily have to put that you volunteered. You can put it as part of your work experience. It's still a work experience. It doesn't have to be put under a volunteer section. You can later put it under a volunteer section on LinkedIn, but put it there. So if you're really, really keen, you might not really be too bothered by whether you get paid or not. What you're looking for is something to give you leverage. So those two things can give you leverage. And there are also organizations that put together fellowships. So the most recent one that was just posted, you might have seen it around Mastercard Foundation. You're actually looking for people who have 0 to 2 years of experience for their associate program. So you can go search that out. I can also forward the link. I think I got the link. I can also forward it to Mr. Batunde, and you can forward it to your community group, and you can go and apply for that. So 0 years of experience. So anything that you've done, any training at all, or even if it's your school thing that you want to put, and maybe you served in one association in school, still put it, but draft it in a professional sense, right? And then submit. So you can put in for that immediately. Then, is it advisable to focus on one at a time? Especially if you are new, right? You are just starting out. You are looking for combination of internships, fellowship programs, and maybe entry level jobs. So don't only focus on entry level jobs, you might not find, because there are people who are more experienced than you who are willing to work for that 100K that they want to pay. So, and of course, a company will go for someone who's more experienced, even though it's an entry level role, right? Or somebody in the middle. So they will want to go for somebody who is over experienced, of course, because they know that will be trouble for that amount. But they want to go for somebody who at least is still in the middle. So you that you don't even have anything at all, you will not be struggling with them. So you don't want to be in that position. So open up or widen the range of your or the scope of your search to include internships as well, and fellowship programs like this mastercard, foundations, associate program. And I think a few other companies also always do it for entry level. Banks, I can't remember, but I think maybe banks also do that. Don't be ashamed of starting out in a bank. A bank is not bad. A lot of people start their careers in banks. So do that just to boost or just to build your CV. So that you can have something to now start applying for global opportunities. What's the main difference between resume, CV, and portfolio? Hmm. Resume and CV have uh, resume and CV have two different definitions depending on the country. But I feel like that conversation, people don't really care anymore. It used to be a thing some
Yeah,
years back, but now people don't necessarily care about the terminologies. So before, I think the difference is just in UK and US. You know, it's always UK and US now. UK
yeah,
English, US English. So so I think what US called resume, UK called it CV, and what US called CV, UK called it resume. So they used to say resume is like a one-page summary, very, very brief summary, like one page. CV is like a more extensive 2 to 3 or 4 pages. So what everybody is now basically saying that have 2 pages max that you have experience, like you have worked in 15 companies, three. Because no recruiter, let me tell you, recruiters are going to like 100 plus CVs. So they will not sit down to be reading 6 pages, 7 pages of anything. In fact, they will just skim through that your 1, 2 pages. So you make it as summarized as possible. There's no difference in today's context. There might be now be grammatical differences, which you can use a dictionary for. And you can also, differentiate. UK is basically UK and US English um, thing. So portfolio is important and might not really be necessary for certain roles. So for a developer, your portfolio would most times developers always have NDAs, but it's an entry level person that is asking this. So let me just focus on that. Or as an entry level, you probably don't have a portfolio yet. But portfolio is basically showing us practically what you've done. So for the people that have portfolio or present the portfolio the most are like designers because their work is visual. So we can see what they've done. So designers, including brand designers, UI UX designers, yeah, basically people who have designed something that we can see. That's why there's a whole platform for them. Behance is the most common, where they can show us the logos they've done. They can show us the brand guidelines and all of that. So that's like their own portfolio. But as a writer too, a writer also, use portfolio because they want to see, I don't want to know that you have 5 years experience writing for so and so in so industry. I want to see samples of your work. So the portfolio, that's what the portfolio means. I can see samples of what you've done. Yeah, I think that's a simple summary. So let me not talk too much. So personal website, yeah, you can use personal website for portfolio as long as it's just talking about that role. So personal website does not mean you're not telling me that you're a business. It's not relevant for a recruiter because you're not trying to market. So you want to separate that. Just make it a portfolio website. Let's just call it a portfolio website. You can use Notion for that. Notion has templates that you can use for that. I've used a couple of other platforms. I can't remember their names now, but Notion is the one that I used most recently, for that. And if you're a writer yourself, you can even use Google Docs for portfolio. Just put 2 to 3 samples of your work, and that's basically your portfolio. Just shorten the link with bit.ly or tiny URL or all of those short link shortening platforms, and then you have a portfolio to go. So yeah, let's go to the portfolio website. So I hope I answered your questions.
yeah, I believe so. Yeah, Caleb, you can reply on the chat. I believe that question was very, very, very detailed. Yeah. Caleb said, thank you so much for tonight. I'm really blessed. Yes, we are all really blessed. Yeah, thank you so much, Tim Dale. Wow, such an amazing session with you. Thank you for sharing deeply, even with the short time we had. Because of course, like I said when we started, this a way for us to impact our community. This also team that is doing this also to impact you, to help everybody to also pour out of the wealth of our knowledge. So we cannot do this she can't pour everything in how many minutes. So it's just short and all of that. But one thing I would do very that I will ask the community manager to do for the community group is to share Timida's LinkedIn a profile. You guys can follow her and also get to see some of her the insights she has shared and things that she also posts. All of that. So just follow her work and all of that. And of course, if you have further questions, you can enter her DM if she has time. I mean, DM on LinkedIn. No, we are not sharing her number, please. So yes, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Timothy, for sharing, and thank you. You mentioned some few things that are very crucial that I'll just iterate. Emphasize on rather. So and then use that to talk about what we do at GradePlus Africa. So we are grateful to have these amazing people come on board, and quite a number of them are people who have been who have blessed us in a way, and also being a part of our story. And GradePlus Africa started more of like as an idea until 2 years ago, when we decided to push the product out as a component. So GradePlus Africa is an education tech startup. If this is your first time of meeting us, let me introduce quickly. We are a tech startup, education tech startup that caters to career clarity and professional development and productivity of both students and young professionals in Africa. So students who are or just about leaving, getting into uni or already in uni, finding career clarity, finding a path that works well, and all of that. We have products for them. We have a personality test that helps students and professionals find clarity, get to see what works well with their personality. We created something that's localized for Africans, and you get to see your personality. You get to see Africans like you who have the same personality like you, who have succeeded. Some people you can actually follow up on. You get to see your strengths, your blind spots, and also courses you can study both in first and second degree or something, and career path that suits your personality well. So it's a free tool on our website. We're going to share the link on the community for you to access. You have a free access to it. You also have free result, but the comprehensive result, of course, is paid. But even I tell people most of the time, we are business, but we are more heavy on impact. And the free version is something very, very detailed and very amazing as well. So we're going to share the link on the group as well. So for people who are just starting like Caleb, and anyone who needs clarity, or you just want to know what works well before taking a deep dive, you need that. Or you are already a professional, you are just trying to dive, you want to put your finger in some other things. You're trying to say, oh, I want a second career or third career, I want to try something new, or you want to pivot and all of that. You should actually consider that test. And apart from the test, we have courses. She mentioned about thinking courses in the age of AI right now. We have courses, amazing courses for you, both on GradePlus Africa and also on Innovate Lab. We share this link for you. We have cognitive courses. We have professional courses that actually are tailored to professional productivity. So all these courses are just are very, very affordable and all of that. We shared a full link on that on the community. And lastly, since we started this job readiness webinar, the team created something compact, very comprehensive for anyone who's about to get started in the job market or all of that. And that is like for instance, people who are looking for templates for resume or CV, even no experience CV or any of those stuff. You're trying to understand more on how to. I think the topic is the theme of that resource. Title of that resource rather is five. Yes, is yeah here. The title is Five Secrets of Landing Your Dream Job. So it's a comprehensive resource put together by GradePlus Africa for majorly people who are actually preparing for jobs. Okay, you get CV templates, you get cover letter templates, you get even a template of headlines for LinkedIn for across different industry. You get interview answers guide, remote and on-site job. Is actually a detailed product that was created for the sake of this series, because This we are focused on professionals at this particular time to help you jumpstart your career path in any industry. So you should check that. Just it's paid, but it's actually slashed. We have a discount code. It's already expired because we're not even expecting that we'll still have it on this session, but we asked the team to, we're gonna put the discount back and then share the link on the group as well. So I think the discount brings it back to 1,000 naira. It's very, very ridiculous. The discount will last for about 7 days and before it reverts back to its normal price. We'll share that link with you. If you need that or if you have someone who needs that, you should take advantage of that. Yes, so that is all about what's about today's webinar. Thank you all for joining in, and yeah, be in touch if you are joining the community group for the first time because of this webinar. Stay on the community. The community is a free one. You have a lot of access. Even we have also opportunity days where the manager of the community shares opportunity. You can also have access to opportunities there. We have a lot of stuff. We have different people across 20 countries plus on that community, and you can even get to network, meet people. Also, upcoming webinars like this will still also be very beneficial to you. So stay on the community. You can even invite other people to join in. And yes, then that means we will be meeting you for the next webinar as well. It could be me, it could be someone else from the team. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining. And thank you once again, Mrs. Chrissy, for me.
Mr. Bassem, thank you so much for the opportunity. I was going to share something quickly for those who
Yeah.
are just starting, like Caleb,
Oh, that's beautiful. That's
if they're
beautiful.
interested. Yeah, I'm actually organizing a free masterclass for those who are trying to get into the tech space. So if you're interested in
Perfect. Perfect.
project management, I'm going to be sharing how to become a global project manager, right? Of course, there's a training that follows, that, but if you join this particular training, you get to masterclass, you get to know about the training. So if you're starting from scratch, just know about what it requires, what is required to be a global project manager, to be able to access global opportunities as a project manager. And this one is free, is a masterclass, and I'm just going to give you tips on how I was able to become a PMP certified project manager in 90 days, literally. So if
Wow.
anybody is interested in the community, uh, it's next Saturday.
Yeah, that's during the Easter break is the perfect time, right? So, so please, I think you should share this with me so that we can share it with the community as well. So as many people who are either here or not can actually jump on this. This is actually a beautiful one. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing. And
You're welcome.
yes, this is where we'll call it a wrap for today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.
Bye.